Good morning and welcome to the 6th Annual Head for the Cure 5K NC Triangle. My name is Jenna Heilman, Executive Director, and I am thrilled to bring this event with you virtually this year. I wish I could be there to give you all hugs again this year, but this is the next best thing, because bringing the community of brain tumor patients and caregivers and supporters and loved ones in this new way is so crucial for all who have faced this disease. Being diagnosed or faced with a brain tumor is already an incredibly isolating time. And then you add in the pandemic on top of that, and it makes treatment and clinical research and everything that was normally available even more challenging. So this is so important this year to come together and show each other that no one journeys alone. So thank you for participating, because it really does matter. We want you to still register. We know some of you maybe haven't registered yet, or maybe you're seeing this for the first time through a friend's social media. You all can still have the opportunity to register to get that 2020 commemorative shirt. You won't want to miss out. Those shirts are so soft and comfortable, and the finisher medal is amazing. So continue to encourage registrations at headforthecure.org/NC Triangle. Registrations will remain open through Sunday, September 13th. That's tomorrow. So make sure that you are still encouraging folks to register. Head for the Cure really exists for three main reasons. The first is to build awareness around this incredibly elusive disease. The second is to raise funds to support clinical research and patient programs. And the third, and what we're doing here today, is igniting hope. All of us need a little hope, especially if you have been diagnosed, if you are a caregiver of someone diagnosed, if you love someone who's been diagnosed, or if you're also a clinician. The group atmosphere, the group support is so important for each of us. And by showing off your pictures of how you're participating, by sending in your stories and your testimonies and your photos, you all continue to ignite that hope. So thank you so much for helping us do that today. We are so excited to continue our fantastic national support through our sponsors. VML-Y&R International Marketing and Advertising Agency helped ignite Head for the Cure 18 years ago, and they have literally been by our side every single step of the way. Harry Campbell and his Get Real program has generated more than $440,000 in donations to Head for the Cure. He does this through his speaking engagements and book sales. His latest book, Get Real Mindset, really challenges all of us, even during this turbulent time, to make the best of ourselves possible when it comes to work and personal life. And he generates 100% of those book sales and his speaking fees back to Head for the Cure. So this is a great way for you all to continue your support through Harry Campbell. So look more about Harry Campbell today. Novacure has also been a national sponsor of Head for the Cure for the past several years. Their Optune device is one of the only FDA-approved devices to treat glioblastoma patients. Their patient-forward approach is amazing to see, and they do so in order to increase the quality of care for those going through this terrible disease. And finally, Gary and the team at Weather 2020 helps provide accurate long-term forecasts to help showcase when is the best possible time for you all to do your own virtual 5K. So thanks to Gary and his team. We are also so thrilled to continue our partnership with UNC Brain Tumor Program. Their focus is providing patients the best care that uses the latest advances driven by scientific and clinical discoveries. The UNC Brain Tumor Program strives to individualize each patient's care by using this team approach to develop an ideal treatment strategy. We want to give a huge shout out to the amazing team at Tumor Program, including Luce and Catherine, and of course Dr. Hagi and Aaron and the whole team. You all have been such a tremendous partner for the past 6 years, and we can't do this without you. Not only can Head for the Cure not do this without you, but your patients can't either. So thank you so much for your amazing support. Okay, now it's time for our virtual 5K. We are going to be featuring a true 5K run or walked by some of our survivors, patients, and maybe even one of the doctors. So you'll want to stick around and watch this event because we're also going to be featuring shared stories from all of you for why this cause is so important in order to build that awareness. There's still time to make donations, and this is also the time for you all to post your pictures and your videos of how you all are participating. You can do that on social media and tag Head for the Cure on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And you'll want to make sure to stick by our side after the 5K because we are going to be honoring all of our survivors. We are going to be recognizing some of those survivors with the Keeping the Faith, as well as celebrating caregivers with our Legacy of Love and remembering those that we've lost to this disease. So please stick around and we'll see you after the 5K.
Hi, I'm Melissa Kivas. And I've been running Head for the Cure for about 6 years now, since I had my own tumor diagnosed and removed. So I had an astrocytoma found and removed through surgery in 2014, a couple months before my wedding. And so ever since then I've just been on checking MRIs to follow up, make sure everything looks good. But that's when I got involved with the Head for the Cure community. I'd been a runner before, and this was a great way for me to keep being a runner and raise some money for fundraising. So let's run for a 5K. I'm going to start my music and then we'll go.
I'm occasionally asked why I keep doing what I do. Doesn't it hurt to lose a patient? You must have a cage around your heart, they said. It may come as a surprise, but I am deeply affected by the loss of every patient and to observe the deep pain and sorrow of what these families go through. These are human beings, and I'm a human being. I can empathize with their pain and feel humbled by each patient's grace and fortitude as they face their disease. What brings me hope is that someday we will have better treatments that will eventually help my patients live long and full lives. Head for the Cure is making that a reality, not just by promoting awareness of these terrible diseases, but by advocating for change and inspiring others to give what they can in order to provide us with the ammunition we need to keep moving forward with groundbreaking research. With each race, we run together toward a better future. This is our race and our time to make a difference. This is why I do what I do.
take a deep breath, rip open the door. I see all the bodies moving to the beat on the dance floor. I see her face, electric blue eyes. Without hesitation, she walks my way and has me mesmerized. She grabs my hand and says, dance, baby, dance. Get up and dance, let the rhythm move you, fly through you. Dance, baby, dance. Get up and dance. Dare to show the world who you are when you get up and dance. Stick my feet in the sand, set my body in motion. The sink of my heart is a beast to the crash of the ocean. I spin in the breeze, lift my hands in the air, breathing deep, feeling free. I can do this anywhere. The sun shining, saying, dance, baby, dance. Get up and dance, let the rhythm move you, fly through you. Dance, baby, dance. Get up and dance. Dare to show the world who you are when we get up and dance. Everybody, get up on your feet, make no apology, and just dance with me. Move it, everybody. I'll play your symphony. Come on, everybody, just dance with me, dance with me.
Despite the number of brain tumors and their devastating prognosis, there are only 5 FDA-approved drugs and 1 device to treat brain tumors. For many tumor types, surgery and radiation remain the standard of care. By donating today, you can help change this.
Alright, so that's mile 1 down. I'm going to get you off the sidewalk because there's more runners coming. I wanted to say that Head for the Cure was a really good way for me to get involved in the brain tumor community because like I said, I was a runner before, and because of where my tumor was after my surgery, my left side was paralyzed. And my surgery happened 2 months before my wedding. So the only thing that I would ask the doctors and the nurses was like, am I gonna be able to walk down the aisle? But in the back of my head, I was also thinking like, am I gonna be able to run again? So luckily that swelling and everything in my brain did go down, and I got movement clearly back in my left side. I was able to walk down the aisle. I leaned on my dad a lot. I was able to walk down the aisle, and then that fall, so my surgery was in March, and then the first Head for the Cure race I did was in, I think, August, maybe September. I don't, the North Carolina one has been in different months. But I ran another 5K that summer, and then I ran Head for the Cure. And it took me a while to get back to where I was before the surgery. But I'm running again and it feels really good. So like the brain tumor can't slow me down, and Head for the Cure keeps me motivated. I do a bunch of other races too, but Head for the Cure is one of my favorite ones. So let's do our second mile.
6 NeuroStrong are neuro nurses and family members that care for the patients diagnosed with brain tumors. We see the impact that a brain tumor has on patients and families every day. If we walk to help find a cure or treatment to improve one patient's prognosis, then it's worth every step.
Hey, Head for the Cure, this is Team 6 NeuroStrong. We're walking for our patients and their families to improve the health and well-being of our patients diagnosed with brain cancer. Walk with us.
Has completed their 5K with a little bit of walking left to go. We hope that you've enjoyed us and that you will enjoy your 5K to raise funds for such a very worthy cause.
Deepak is an inspirational and motivational marathon runner. The long runs, the aches and fatigue, and the demanding training schedule are taxing for the healthiest of people. Now imagine doing this while undergoing treatment for an aggressive brain tumor. He has shown amazing strength, belief, and determination in his fight against brain cancer. Deepak is not only a great athlete, but an amazing friend. We pray for his speedy recovery and wish him all the best in overcoming this disease. Please join our team in the NC Triangle Virtual 5K to honor Deepak and motivate him, his family, and all those who have been impacted by brain cancer. Overall, in young adults ages 15 through 39, brain tumors are the third most common cancer, as well as the third most deadly cancer. NC Triangle, let's change these numbers together. Show your support by registering or donating to this year's event. Together, we can defeat brain cancer step by step.
So there's 2 miles. Before we do this last mile in a little bit, I want to say thank you to the Head for the Cure community, to the Brain Tumor Trials Collaborative, who are doing great research to work our way to cures and treatments, and especially thank you to the caregivers and supporters. I have my husband John working this camera. He's amazing. He wasn't even married to me yet, but he was with me every side of the way through my surgery and my recovery, and now he's my running buddy. He's my cameraman, and I know that all of us survivors are so appreciative of the caregivers and our friends and family and the healthcare workers and the fundraisers and everybody who helps us find a cure. All right, so we're 2 miles in. Let's get 1.1 more, and then we'll say goodbye to the North Carolina Head for the Cure race.
Kirsty Steele, and I am walking today in honor or in memory of my dad, Scott Groot. He was diagnosed with glioblastoma multiforme, the most aggressive form of brain cancer, in April of 2018, and he died in May of 2019. I'm also walking in honor of a friend from elementary school. Her name is Devin Ryan, and she is battling brain cancer right now. Devin, we're praying for you, and we love you. I'm wearing my We Are Groot shirt, which the first Head for the Cure event race that I participated in, our group all wore these shirts, and if you're a fan of Guardians of the Galaxy, you will understand the reference. What I want people to know about this cancer is that it's life-altering, not only for the person that's diagnosed, but for everyone that their life touches. And I continue to participate in these events because my goal is that when a family receives this news in the future, that they'll have hope and they'll have more options for treatment than we did. I miss my dad every day. Everyone who knew him misses him as well. And I hope that Devin has more options moving forward. So thank you to everyone who's participating today, and thank you to everyone who donated. It really does make a difference.
The 5-year relative survival rate for the most common form of primary malignant brain tumors, glioblastoma, is only 6.8%. With each registration and donation for this year's virtual 5K, you can make a difference in the fight against brain cancer. 17 months ago, David and I were put on a journey not chosen by us, but by God. Dave was diagnosed with a stage 4 glioblastoma, GBM, in February 2019. Since that time, he has been and still continues to take part in a clinical trial. The journey has had its bumps, but the care and love shown to us by the oncology doctors, clinicians, and the staff at the Lineberger Cancer Institute at the UNC Cancer Hospital, Chapel Hill, continues to make this journey hopeful. With the support of the GBM clinical trial, Dave and I continue to be optimistic. To date, every visit shows no return of the GBM. Our greatest desire is that one day this cancer trial treatment will be approved and used to save the lives of others who face this diagnosis. It is important that these trials are able to take place. We can only do this with God's help and your kind gifts.
That's our 5K. Thanks for running the North Carolina Triangle Head for the Cure 5K virtually with me. And thanks for raising money for brain tumor research and awareness. It was a good run. I got a little bit more to do because I'm training for a longer one, but thanks.
Thanks so much for all of our 5K runners and for all of you for participating by sending in those pictures, by showing up today. Again, you all are helping us bring the community of brain tumor patients in the NC Triangle area and really throughout North Carolina. And that's so important so people know that they're not journeying alone. NC Triangle, you all have had another fantastic year of support with 250 participants, 12 teams, and we've raised nearly $30,000. Fun is not over yet. As I mentioned already, you can still register through tomorrow, Sunday, September 13th. But also donations remain open for even a longer amount of time. It's important to continue to ask those friends and family members to continue to give a little bit in order to support this amazing cause. There's still so much needed to fund that important clinical research and patient programs to help find comprehensive treatments for all brain tumor patients. If everyone who has registered just asked 2 more people to donate $20, we could raise another $6,000 to support this cause. Again, we couldn't do this event without the amazing support of the UNC Brain Tumor Program. Thank you, UNC Brain Tumor Program, for all that you do for patients and loved ones who've been faced with this disease. It is now my honor to be able to recognize the top teams and individuals when it comes to participation and fundraising. And now for our largest teams. In third place is Smeal the Deal Part 2 with 26 participants. In second place with 38 participants is Brain Battle Buddies B3. And in first place with 64 participants is Team DPAC. And now for our top fundraising teams. In third place, raising more than $2,250 is Smeal the Deal Part 2. In second place with more than $5,900 raised is Team DPAC. And in first place, raising more than $7,700 is Brain Battle Buddies. And now for our individuals in fundraising. In third place is Lisa Glover, raising more than $700. In second place, raising nearly $900, is Stephanie Lyle. And in first place, raising nearly $3,900, is Karen Gould. It's now that time, which is my favorite time of the event, where we typically invite all of our survivors and patients to come up to the stage to where we can embrace you and honor you. While we can't do that physically this year, we still can recognize each of you individually through a photo montage and by reading each of your names. This is so important because you all are the inspiration to us to continue this fight. Through your tenacity, your journey, your positivity, and throughout just your everyday-to-day lives. You inspire us. So thank you for allowing us to celebrate you today. Corey, Bethany, David, Nicholas, Alyssa, Brian, Deepak, Suzanne, Maggie, Bradley S., Brad W., Karen, Stephanie, Jason, Thomas, and Devin. As I mentioned before, Head for the Cure really exists to ignite that hope, and that hope started 18 years ago with Chris Anthony. Chris passed away in 2003, and his legacy inspired our founder, Matt, to begin this foundation. Throughout Chris's difficult journey with a glioblastoma, he continued to say 3 simple words: keeping the faith. He ended every conversation, every handshake, every email, and every thought with those words. And that was faith in himself, faith in tomorrow, faith in a cure, and faith spiritually. At each of our 5K events, loved ones nominate some of our survivors who have embodied those simple words of keeping the faith. Please join us as we recognize our Keeping the Faith recipients. New this year in NC Triangle, we are also honoring our caregivers through the Stevie Patrick Legacy of Love Award. These caregivers often give the most of themselves in order to support a loved one going through treatment. So join us as we honor those with our Stevie Patrick Legacy of Love Award.
Head for the Cure 5K events are not only successful fundraisers in the fight against brain cancer, but unique tributes for those currently fighting this terrible disease and remembering those who have lost their battles. Head for the Cure was started in honor of a man named Chris Anthony. Chris's motto was always keeping the faith. He lived it daily. He signed off every email with keeping the faith, and his faith enabled him to maintain his grace, dignity, courage, and strength throughout his illness. That's why every year we honor brain cancer patients and their loved ones with a special recognition we call Keeping the Faith. Each of their stories is personal and special, and all are inspiring. Deepak Musal, nominated by 50 of his closest friends. To read these nominations, please visit headforthecure.org/NC Triangle. Deepak Musal, 45, was diagnosed last July with glioblastoma multiforme, a highly aggressive brain cancer. At the time, he was training for the 2019 New York City Marathon. It was during a run in early July that he noticed his left hand had become numb. The symptoms were more pronounced after a lunchtime walk at work on July 19th. He felt weakness on his left side and had notable stomach discomfort. This prompted Musal, an information technology professional in Durham, North Carolina, to go to his car and call his office. The employee health team responded and took him to the ER. An MRI scan detected a mass on the right side of his brain. Musal had surgery July 26th at UNC Rex Hospital, followed by a 6-week course of radiation therapy and chemotherapy at UNC Lineberger Comprehensive Cancer Center. Musal ran the New York City Marathon on November 3rd, less than a month after completing his treatment. He finished the race in 4 hours and 34 minutes, but his time was slower than he'd hoped. Still, he crossed the finish line ahead of nearly 25,000 other runners. Simon Hagi, Musal's neuro-oncologist, said he was struck by Musal's determination to run the New York City Marathon and his stamina during treatment to maintain his training regimen. His resilience is remarkable and a testament to the human spirit. When we met to discuss his treatment plan, he was in the process of training for the New York City Marathon, which I did not expect him to continue. He not only continued to train, he also ran 2 half marathons and the Head for the Cure 5K.
Deepak is a great source of inspiration to many during his fight with GBM. Not only has he ran several full and half marathons since his initial diagnosis, surgery, and treatment, but he has also inspired a large group of adults and children in the local community to take up running, and he kept this up even when he was going through treatment. He is a very quiet and soft-spoken person, but everyone who comes in contact with him are just drawn to him and are inspired by him, whether they know his fight with cancer or not. He is truly a gem of a person and continues to do things for others and give back to the community even when he is going through tough times. Devin Ryan, nominated by Kirsty Steele. Devin is small but mighty. Devin was diagnosed with glioblastoma multiforme in early 2020. She is a fighter, and I am proud to know her. I am walking in honor of her this year. Jason Vernon, nominated by Marsha Vernon. The week of Jason's 44th birthday, July 23, 2019, he experienced right leg arm seizures and was taken to the ER. A MRI revealed a brain mass, possibility of glioblastoma. As the family searched the internet for answers, diagnosis painted a harsh reality of what he was dealing with, setting in motion countless physical exams, brain scans, appointments with neurologists, neurosurgeons, radiologists, oncologists, clinical trial specialists. Reality quickly set in once he underwent his first brain surgery. Biopsy confirmed grade 4 GBM, a devastating blow. Many young men at this time in their lives are thinking, okay, where do I go from here to experience some dreams I've always had? Certainly not imagining being diagnosed with a serious illness such as GBM. Jason, of course, turned to the love and support of family, friends, but most importantly, turned to the Lord for increased faith, hope, strength, and courage. Weeks following his biopsy, he underwent his second brain surgery, removing 70% of tumor, which was not without residual side effects, including seizures, leg, arm, and hand weakness, and bouts of inability to walk on his own. He underwent 6 weeks of intensive chemo, radiation, and immunotherapy, including 7 hospital stays, intensive hospital rehab, strengthening legs and arms, and working on speech and language skills. After completing 6 weeks of chemo, radiation, and immunotherapy in December, it was disheartening to learn that the tumor was not responding. Another blow. Then, in January, he was offered alternative treatment that has shown promise. MRIs over the past 8 months reveal tumor shrinkage. Through everything he has faced over 13 months, Jason remains upbeat, positive, encouraging, hopeful, and helpful to others. We're so proud of you. Karen Gould, nominated by Mark Gould. My wife inspires with her faith in God and her strength. Even though I am the caregiver as she goes through just about the worst health situation she could ever be in, she wants others to know about a hope that is bigger than cancer. She continues to care so much about others that she is constantly thinking of what everyone else is going through and what she can get for them. 3 days after her 6 weeks of chemo and radiation, she came down with shingles on her face, all around her right eye, and was in excruciating pain, so much that we took her to the emergency room. When we got there, she wanted to know how the transportation person was doing and asked the doctor all about her family. I love my wife so much, and I am blessed to have the opportunity to learn from her during this difficult time. Thomas DeMarce, nominated by Linda, Lauren, family, and friends. Thomas DeMarce, father, son, brother, sailor, research assistant professor of neurology, brain tumor patient at UNC, my love and our inspiration. When Tom experienced double vision and unsteady gait in March 2019, an MRI revealed midbrain lesions. Following a biopsy by Dr. Wend, Tom was diagnosed with anaplastic astrocytoma, a high-grade glioma. After starting treatment, Tom suffered a gastric bleed and underwent chemoradiotherapy, physiotherapy, occupational and speech therapy as an inpatient. Following further complications, Tom underwent inpatient rehabilitation supported by family and friends. A year later, the lesions have decreased in size with treatment. Despite Tom's diagnosis, he persevered in getting back to the lab and works from home due to limited mobility. As part of a research team at UNC, Tom investigates how neural networks become dysfunctional in Alzheimer's disease and how a new intervention may prevent disease development and cognitive decline. In the face of his own disease and limitations, he is determined to improve the lives of others. While his wife and daughter live in Canada and his parents and sister live out of state, Tom courageously attends follow-up appointments solo. We express our heartfelt thanks to Dr. Kaggi's team at the UNC Brain Tumor Program for excellent care, members of the neurology department who contributed leave during Tom's treatment, and family and friends for their prayers and support. Tom's strength, optimism, determination, resilience, love of life, and dreams for the future continually inspire us. By sharing his story, we hope it inspires others to keep the faith in the face of adversity. In faith, hope, and gratitude. John Merritt, nominated by Katie Merritt. I met John in 2018, right as he was starting to experience his first symptoms. He had run his first ultramarathon and was having a difficult time recovering. Shortly after, he began having focal aware seizures. His primary care doctor believed them to be silent migraines. The seizures became more frequent, and John went from being a man who could get up at 4 a.m., meditate, do yoga, and then fish all day, to a man who sometimes couldn't even get out of bed. Knowing there was something more serious, his family, friends, and I pushed him to see a neurologist. In September of 2019, we learned that he had a brain tumor. Surgery in October revealed it to be a grade 2 astrocytoma. While the surgery was successful, the entire tumor could not be removed, and he followed it with 6 weeks of radiation and is now in month 4 of a 6-month chemo treatment. During this time, he has exuded positivity and continues to give this fight everything that he has. You would be hard-pressed to find a day where he doesn't have a smile on his face. He is the type of guy who engages people and makes them feel important, encourages them when they are down, offers his support, and means it. In the midst of all of his health issues and in the middle of a yoga class, John and I became engaged. We married in January 2020 and blended our families to become a family of 7. He likes to joke that he has to be strong with 5 teenagers, 3 dogs, 4 cats, and a new wife in the middle of a pandemic. This isn't just his battle. We are all fighting with him. In spite of everything we have gone through and are currently going through, as hard as this is for all of us, I can't imagine how awful it would be if I had never met this amazing man. People say this all the time, but knowing John Merritt has made me a better person. Thank you for your courage and for allowing us to honor you. New this year, the legacy of Love nomination is easily defined by actions of integrity, encouragement, determination, and truly loving and serving others, especially those in need. The recipient of this must have a strong desire to encourage and help others. This deserving person must be a leader each day and also have the courage to smile in the midst of adversity. We now like to share their story. John Kivas, nominated by Alyssa Kivas. When I began seizing, we were going at least 70 miles per hour down I-95 toward Disney World. John safely got us to the shoulder where he rushed to the passenger side to call 911 and make sure I didn't hurt myself while convulsing. I was so pumped full of drugs that day that I don't know half of what happened at the South Carolina hospitals. But I do have vivid memories of John helping me into the MRI, John standing there with his hand on my knee as I fell asleep inside the machine, John talking to the doctors, John telling me everything would be okay, John helping me back into our car to return home. With the knowledge that I had a mass in my brain and the preliminary diagnosis of some kind of cancer, he filled in my family, his boss, my boss, anyone who needed to know. He made all the calls to get me a meeting with a neurosurgeon at UNC a few days later. At the appointment, the surgeon gave us the options: let it be and take seizure medication, drill into biopsy, or have surgery to remove the tumor. We scheduled the surgery for a week later. The week leading up to my surgery, John watched all my favorite shows with me, brought me to Build-A-Bear to get a comfort animal to bring to the hospital, cheered during Heels games, and watched the Oscars with me. Then, the day of the surgery came. He rushed to my side as soon as the surgery was over. Then he hardly left it for the entire time I spent in the hospital. The morphine made me paranoid. John was the only person who could keep me calm, and he graciously stayed so I could get sleep. He fed me ice chips when I woke from fitful dozes. He cracked jokes about my Q-tip head bandages and the food. For the first several days after the surgery, I couldn't move my left side, and then over the next week, as the swelling in my brain went down, my muscle control slowly came back. It was exciting to get movement back, but it wasn't pretty. My hand would jerk up, and I had to pull it back down. John would calmly reset my arm in a comfortable position. John brought me a UNC beanie to put over my newly shaved head, which was always cold. He was there to hug me when I stood for the first time, and he was there cheering me on as I took wobbly steps a couple days later. We knew that the surgeon thought the surgery had been good, but we didn't know anything about the biopsy right away. We were told that it was low grade, and we were very lucky. That was true, but we misinterpreted to mean the tumor was benign. It wasn't. John held me as the neurologist told us it had been malignant, and there was a chance that the cancer could come back regardless of how good the surgery was. In the month after the surgery, he protectively hovered next to me, ready to catch me if necessary as I took my first jogging steps. He drove me back and forth to work when I returned to the office, adding an hour to his commute. He discussed with me the pros and cons of me wearing a wig at our wedding. He never stopped encouraging me. He still hasn't. 2 months to the day after my surgery, he finally became my husband. John takes me to all of my follow-up MRIs and waits in the room for the hour-long scan to finish. He's my biggest supporter, my running partner, my shoulder to cry on, and my favorite person on the planet. Mark Gould, nominated by Karen Gould. My husband Mark Gould is a godly caretaking man. From the moment he drove me to the ER for slurred speech to watching me have a seizure there, and even though he was not allowed to ride with me to the hospital due to COVID, he never stopped praying for me. He sent me coffee and gifts in the hospital, and he FaceTimed me every day. He sat and prayed with me as they allowed him to come back to the hospital for my left open craniotomy for a brain tumor a week later. I came home the next day after surgery, and right away he was my caregiver, just like a nurse giving me medicine, watching me breathe, eat, shower, exercise. He did it all because God saw his tears, heard his cries, and watched all the sacrifices he made for me. He put his faith in action and showed his love for me out of obedience. He carried out God's word to love your fellow man. The blessings of caregiving came when he made love a verb and truly lived his everyday life and the love of God in his heart.
And finally, we know that we have lost too many lives to this disease. While these people can't be with us physically, they continue to remain in our hearts, in our thoughts, and in our souls. And by sharing those memories together, we are ensuring that they will never leave us. If you have not submitted your own memory or thoughts for the Celebration of Life presentation, please continue to do so. Right now, join me as we remember those we've lost with our Celebration of Life. again today for all of your participation, for showing up, by showing those pictures, by sharing your story. It really matters in this fight against brain cancer. Again, the fight continues. Registration still stays open through tomorrow, Sunday, September 13th, and donations remain open. But you know what? We can't wait to see all of you next year for the 7th annual Head for the Cure 5K NC Triangle in person in 2021. Thank you all so much and enjoy the rest of your weekend.